Asante sana Bwana Deputy President, Mr. Rigiji. Tafadhali tuketi chini. Asante. Mawaziri mlio hapa pamoja na uongozi wa Central Bank, Chairman, Governor, Deputy Governor, uongozi wa jeshi letu la polisi, Bwana IG and your deputies, Governor wetu wa Kajiado na viongozi wa Kajiado, na officers wote mliokuja hapa na wananchi, hamjambo. Kwanza mimi nataka nichukue nafasi hii niwapongeze jeshi la polisi na vile vile Central Bank of Kenya kwa sababu ya kolabo mumefanya, ndio hii facility imepatikana. Nasema pongezi sana. In my other life, when I was an assistant minister at the office of the president a while ago, we made the decision then to have these 100 acres here. I am a very proud person today that the small decision we made at the office of the president almost 20 years ago, today we have a wonderful facility as the Police Leadership Academy. When I was asked by the governor, I didn't know that this is the same 100 acres that we had recommended. That time, when we recommended 100 acres, it looked like it was unreasonable. But as things are now, already 18 acres has been taken up by this academy. And it looks like with the expansion of the police force, the whole 100 acres will be in use shortly. So let me commend the leadership of our police service and the leadership of Central Bank. Pongezi sana. This is the kind of relationship we want to build around government, that all institutions must be able to speak with one another, and we must be able to synergize so that we avoid the silo mentality in government. When governor spoke, he said, this is very unlikely. But now we want this not to be the exception, we want this to be the norm. That government institutions can leverage on the resources that we have. So that, as is the case in this particular case, the Central Bank has used land for the police in industrial area to build housing for officers serving in Central Bank, and in return, they have come to build this leadership facility for the police. That is the kind of collaboration, that is the kind of synergy that must be the hallmark of government, that we can work together for the benefit not of any one person or any one institution, for the greater good of the people of Kenya. So again, I think here we have an opportunity in government to avoid unnecessary siloing in government. In fact, we have instances where government institutions take each other to court because of the failure to recognize and understand that we are one government, we are serving one people, and we must be able to build the network, the understanding for us to share the resources we have, and for us to use the resources we have for the greater good of the people of Kenya, not any one institution on its own. So wale wengine, na mimi ninajua, nilikuwa Nyandarua juzi, kona moja ya serikali imepeleka kona ingine ya serikali kotini, na wamekwamisha project karibu miaka 10. wale wote katika serikali yetu ya Kenya ambao wamepelekana kotini wajifunze kutokana na hii collaboration tumeona kati ya Central Bank na jeshi yetu ya polisi, ya kwamba tunaweza kushirikiana na tunaweza kuongea pamoja, tuweze kutumia ile resources tuko nayo kwa manufaa ya the different institutions that we serve, but also for the greater good of the government of Kenya. Secondly, I also want to commend our police force. This Leadership Institute is a very important institution as we look into a professional police service. It is our intention, and the administration that runs the government of Kenya today, it is our intention to professionalize our security sector, more specifically, our police and our prison officers. It is our intention. And we are going to work with you to make sure that men and women who serve in our police service are proud of being the men and women who look after our children, who look after our property, and who provide that service that secures our country. And for that to be the case, we must deploy sufficient resources, we must train our men and women properly, the recruitment, the training, the promotion, and the entire terms of service must reflect the critical service that our policemen and women provide for our country. And as Deputy President has said, this morning I have appointed a task force to look into the reforms that are necessary for us to remove the gaps that currently exist in our police service, to think broadly and deeply into what does the government of Kenya need to do to make sure that the recruitment, the training, the promotion, terms of service, and all conditions are the best conditions possible for our men and women in the police force and in our prisons to serve their country. And I want to assure you that I am committed at a personal level and the Kenya government at the corporate level to make sure that we have a professional police service. I have given my assurance to the commanders across the country that they have my support, they have the support of the government of Kenya to make sure that they deliver on their mandate. And as has been said, we are a country governed by the rule of law. We are a constitutional democracy. And we want to build institutions, whether it is the judiciary, whether it is independent institutions like our police service, whether it is parliament. We want to build all these institutions to secure the rule of law and to secure our democracy, so that the whims of an individual cannot overrun the institutional capacity of all the institutions we build as a country. That is the way into the future. I have been very clear to all our men in uniform. I have had a chat with our military. I have had a chat with the commanders of the police. And I have been very clear to these men and women that they have a cardinal duty to secure the lives, the property, and the nation of Kenya, to make sure that we can rally our development, we can rally our progress in a secure environment. Everything else, whether we are running development issues or we are running our politics, it will be very difficult if we do not have a secure environment. And therefore, collectively, it is our duty as a nation. Kenyans, in their individual capacity, have a role to play. The bigger role is in the shoulders of our security men and women. And we will support you. We will go out of our way to make sure that we make it easy for you to deliver on your mandate. And I have said this, that because we are a country of the rule of law, because we are a constitutional democracy, you must be grounded on the understanding of what the law says and what the Constitution says. And that is why this Leadership Institute is very important. That is why the curriculum through which our security men and women go through is very important, so that you can be grounded in the understanding on what you have to do, what is your mandate, what is your constitutional responsibility, what is your legal responsibility. And so that if for any chance you get, unfortunately, instructions that are not grounded in law or the constitutions, you should respectfully ignore such instructions and follow what the Constitution and the law says. That is the kind of police force we want to build. That is the kind of institutions we want to build, that these institutions can run on the understanding of what the law says, what the Constitution says, and we can all move together as a country. Let me also say the following, that it is correct that many of our officers are living in very bad conditions. They live in, what we could say is squalor. They live in very bad settlements. They share residence. I know we have provided for house allowance. Some of them cannot get accommodation in the right places. And therefore, I have also instructed the Ministry of Housing to include provision for housing for all our security men and women as we do our affordable housing plan. So, Bwana IG, the ministry is going to get in touch with you so that you can tell us where you have adequate space for us to be able to build affordable houses so that your men and women can have reasonable accommodation and they can live decently like the houses we have seen here. Si namna hiyo? So tutapangana na nyinyi tuhakikishe ya kwamba officers wetu wa polisi, wa prisons, wa jeshi, wote tumewaunganisha katika mpango wetu wa kuwapangia mahali pazuri pa kuishi, na tunajua ile pesa mnapatiwa ya house allowance saa zingine haiwezi kukodesha nyumba mahali ambapo inatoshana na officers wetu. Wanaishi mahali si pazuri, wanahatarisha maisha yao, wanahatarisha mambo ya arms ambazo tuko nazo. So we will work together in that manner. And let me also say as we go into the future that we also need to depoliticize. And we've said this with my deputy, we don't need the assistance of the police in managing our politics. Siasa sisi tuko na watu wengi wa kutusaidia na siasa. Tuko na activists wengi, tuko na lobby groups mingi, tuko na pressure group mingi, na watu wengi wa kupiga makelele. Tunataka polisi washughulike na mambo ya usalama ya Wakenya wote bila kujali ni wa mrengo gani wa kisiasa. Sisi siasa na vyama ni mambo ambayo yako katika katiba ya Kenya. So all our policemen and women provide security across Kenya for all citizens of our republic, bila ya kujali ni wa chama hii, dini ile, kabila hiyo ama misingi ingine yoyote. Nyinyi ni kazi yenu ni kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wote bila ya kujali yale mambo mengine yote wanapata usalama yao, familia zao, watoto wao, biashara zao, maisha yao, mali yao. Every Kenyan must be secured. Mambo hii ya siasa tutangangana na wale tuko nao kwa siasa. Hiyo sisi ndio mafundi wa huko. Tutajua ya vile ya kunyoroshana na wao huko. Nyinyi ufundi yenu ni ya usalama. So mtusaidie hapo kwa usalama. Hii ingine we don't need your help. Hii ingine tutangangana na wale wako kwa kiwanja hiyo. So nataka tena niseme pongezi kwenu watu wa Central Bank na vile vile kwa jeshi la polisi kwa kuunganisha mawazo yenu na kusababisha akademi hii ya uongozi wa polisi ijengwe. Tunatarajia ya kwamba katika ile task force ambayo nimeweka this morning, all the ideas will come through and we can be able to end up with a product that is going to assist our men in uniform, the police men and women of Kenya, to get the necessary attention that they need so that they can provide the constitutional mandate that is assigned to them in a professional and in the best manner that they can. So sitaki kusema kuzidi hapo kwa sababu bado tuko na shughuli ingine huko Ngong ya kupanda miti. Bwana IG, nataka ni kuombe kwa heshima kubwa hawa officers wako waongee na hao vizuri, wanisaidie katika hii mpango ya kupanda miti. Tafadhali. Kila officer akijipanga hapo atusaidie kupanda miti itakuwa mzuri. Kwa sababu hii climate change inatusumbua. Na tusipofanya kitu hii dunia itazidi na kuharibika. So we have to come together and see what we can do as a nation. So asanteni sana na washukuru sana kwa kunisikiza na I wish each and every one of you the very best. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Tutakutana pale mbele tukishughulika na ujenzi wa taifa. Asanteni sana. God bless you.
You are watching DAESAK TV, the cradle of goodness.